Hi, Avon. I'm Avon Fire Chief Bob Spur coming to you with one of our COVID-19 updates. And joining me as always is,
Kathleen Waldron, health agent for Avon.
hi, Kathleen. So let's start off with the numbers at the moment. The US known cases, there are 9,872,000, and there are 229,724 known fatalities. In the Commonwealth, we're at 166,745 cases with 9,923 known fatalities. Kathleen, how's Avon?
Sure, locally we're at 108 cumulative cases. If you heard me speak at the selectmen's meeting, I did say 109. That was a mistake. We're at 108. And currently in what the state is reporting, we have 5 positive cases in our 2-week period for Avon.
Excellent. So I think the thing that's important about that 2-week period, and anybody that's watched stuff about this on the news at all, is that the state changed the metrics, changed what we're looking at. So you've heard me talk a number of times about Avon could only be red or gray. That's not true anymore. They listen to the small communities. I'm going to bring up the screen. We'll share that, and I'll talk behind it here. Give me a second. So what we're looking at here is the new state graphic, and we're obviously in the population under 10,000 category. To be gray, you have to have 10 or fewer cases, which is where we are at the moment, and is where we were when the state had their numbers come out on Friday. To be green, it's 15 or fewer cases. To be yellow, it's up to 25 or fewer cases, and red is more than 25 cases. Once you get into other populations, and I'm not going to go through all of this, but it becomes a combination of cases and positivity rate. So it's a little more nuanced view of what's actually going on in those communities. What they have not done is continue to supply the map. And I think that's an optics thing. When you saw huge areas of the state red, but they do continue on the weekly public health update that anybody can get, mass.gov/COVID19. And it's all there, and they tell you what every single community in the state is. So we now can progress through the colors. We're gray and right on that border of gray-green, but that's okay. Gray, green, and yellow communities are all considered lower risk. It just is till you get to the red communities that you're no longer a lower risk, and it changes some of the phase movement. Kathleen, so what are we looking at phase movement wise?
Well, a couple things. One, I just want to let people know that with the new metrics the state is using, it looks like our positivity rate has been lowered. That's because of the change in the matrix. I want people to still be aware that the COVID in Avon has stayed the same, and we just want to look at the growth of the positive numbers as well as the positivity rate. But especially with this week's change, our numbers haven't drastically decreased at all. It's still here, it's still being spread. We still need to social distance and wear masks and take all precautions. And then as far as phases go, it still means that we're in step 1 of phase 3. And we will continue to be in that until, with this new matrix, we have 3 weeks of unshaded green or yellow reports.
So we can't even look at a step change until around the 20th of November.
As far as I know, that's the guidance I've been given for now.
Yeah.
We all know it could change, but as of now, that's how it stands.
Unfortunately, folks, we watched the same press conference you did. That's where a lot of ours, we get a little bit sometimes, but a lot of it also is, what did he say? But we're keeping up on it. That's what we're doing. But Kathleen, you're absolutely correct that they need to know our numbers didn't go down with coronavirus. They just gave a more nuanced approach on how they evaluate communities. The state, I will actually give DPH credit on this. They realized that they were unfairly penalizing or harshly judging small communities like Avon, and they've looked at more attention. The governor said, and we see this, and it's not exactly how we are now. 2 or 3 houses could have put a small community in the red very easily. So now it gives a little more room to deal with that, because like they keep saying, it tends to be household transmission is a lot of what's seen, not exclusively, but it does seem to be a lot of what's being seen.
Yeah, and I think these new matrix do represent our town more accurately. But again, the numbers have not changed. Like, it's still here.
Right. Yeah, the governor said this. I'm pretty sure it was the governor said this is very similar to the Connecticut, New York, New Jersey model. A little more conservative than some, a little looser than others. They picked a nice, happy middle ground based on what other communities are doing and what the academic data is showing. So I think I'll give them a lot of credit this time. It looks like they actually really grabbed a much more nuanced approach to how they're doing this. So we will see. Kathleen, anything else folks out there need to know?
Yeah, just a couple of other things with the new governor's order. There is a mask requirement for all public places. You need to be wearing a mask, whether or not you can social distance or not. Playgrounds, parks, anything like that, you need to be wearing a mask. They have a stay-at-home advisory from 10 p.m. until 5 a.m. in the morning. And restaurants need to, well, you can dine in until 9:30, but the restaurants are closing at 9:30, except for takeout. You can still do takeout after 9:30. I think those are the biggest updates. And then I just want to touch base at, we all know Thanksgiving's coming up, and it's a time to be with your family. And I'm sure for a lot of you, it's a large gathering, but I just really want you to consider who you're seeing for Thanksgiving, how many people you're having at your house. If you're going to travel, make sure you're taking all the precautions that you need to take. And do what you've been doing, Avon. I just keep saying the same things, but it's just something to take into consideration. I know it's going to be different, but we just ask you to keep to the governor's orders and recommendations, and have a happy Thanksgiving.
Absolutely. Happy Thanksgiving to all. It's different for everybody. So, this might be the year to not have quite as big a meal, especially if there's members of the family that are, older or compromised for some reason. Those are really the people we got to look out for big time. So, Avon, with that, you're doing a good job keeping up masks. Follow the governor's directives, and we'll all get through this. There's some good news coming out. Maybe some of the vaccines are starting to look very promising. So, fingers crossed. We'll see where we get to, and we'll all get through this. Have a good day, everybody. Stay safe.